The Biden cancer cover-up. Former President Joe Biden was diagnosed with advanced metastatic prostate cancer, and has sparked a spectrum of reactions and questions regarding the timing and transparency of his medical condition. Experts, including oncologists, expressed surprise and skepticism that it was so aggressive and is characterized by high Gleason score and bone metastasis. It was Gleason score 9, and was not detected early despite routine examinations, knowing that it's likely developed for several years. What post is this? This is just the AP post. Now, before we start showing the videos, how long do you guys think that they knew? He knew. How about that? Hold on. That he knew. Like, meaning him, Jill, his doctor. Just give me how many years?
Well, the doctor was saying the other day that they would have had to have known, like, as far back as 2020. The doctor that was on MSNBC.
2020. So
yeah. We have a clip of him coming up in a minute.
3 years?
Well, unfortunately for Joe Biden, he probably had to be reminded every morning that he had prostate cancer.
I was going to make the same joke.
What was it?
He had to be reminded every morning.
What day it is, let alone that he has cancer.
Well, he admitted it. Do you have that video too, where he admits?
Yeah,
it? Okay.
yeah. We've got all that, but there's, like they said, there's no way that a cancer like this that is very readily detectable has enough time to metastasize to this degree, and you don't know about it. So when you take that into account, because I've seen people speculate, oh, he doesn't actually have cancer. This is just something they're blowing up to, cover up the fact that his brain is declining to get ahead of the Jake Tapper thing. And it's like bold move on their part if the distraction from his brain doesn't work his brain works fine. He's just got cancer in his butt. Yeah. But I think it becomes very clear what happened. They knew that Joe Biden had cancer, and it might be terminal. Even if they're trying to treat it, it was going to be a huge problem. They also knew from 2020
then why
onward.
would they make him run?
I can tell you exactly why. Because their point was his brain is failing and his body is about to catch up. We need to get him over the line, so within a couple months of winning re-election, he retires because of his cancer diagnosis.
Amendment 25?
He will not admit that his brain is failing, but we can say, I've been diagnosed with cancer. I'm no longer physically able to perform the office of president. I am stepping down. Kamala Harris is coming in.
And that
is why they pushed for that debate so early in July, because they wanted his presentation to the country to be out front sooner.
That's why they didn't drug him? They didn't drug him up?
Either his physical condition or his mental condition were going to decline rapidly after that. The problem was his brain declined way faster than they were expecting. And next thing you know, he's forgetting who George Clooney is.
When his son died.
He's forgetting when Beau Biden died, which is years before. He's having all these problems. And then he goes out on the debate stage, the earliest debate they've ever had, and collapses. So they have nothing left to do but unleash the Obama-Clooney campaign to get him moved aside, and then Kamala Harris brought in. They were trying to give us the first black woman president by
Jamaican,
having a
Indian,
dementia-riddled, cancer-afflicted old man drag her over the finish line and then die or retire. That was the plan. And it blew up in their face because they shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, Pat's been saying a lot lately that the best parenting advice he ever got was when you make threats to your kids, follow through with it. And Trump just said the other day that if this is true and people were withholding the stuff, then people need to go to jail. But he's been making a lot of empty threats lately. So, this is the same thing as the Epstein files and all that stuff. Like, I want to start seeing him follow through on the threats, because the same people who potentially withheld this stuff are the same people who are withholding and responsible for that whole, weird pedo network thing. So, start following through with the threats and start holding people accountable. Like, we haven't seen one serious person who's responsible for these things go to jail or be held accountable. So I'm getting tired of just we're playing games at this point where people are just acting and just saying things and not following through.
I agree. It's the most frustrating thing because, dude, Jon Stewart had such a good clip, especially about the Jake Tapper, about them not knowing and acting like they didn't know, but they knew. And by the way, you were reporting the news. And by the way, in regard to Jake Tapper, just to shift and come back, how long does it take to write a book? How many years of? At
least a year.
Let's say a year. Maybe a year and a half. You're not writing a book, dude. Edit it and make it nice and make it cuts. So Jake Tapper and these losers and that guy, what's the other guy's name? Sullivan or something?
Jake Sullivan?
No, the guy that wrote it with him.
It's the guy from Axios. Johnson? Something?
Whatever.
Johnson?
His name's not important enough to know.
It's not worth remembering.
They knew all this stuff. They knew everything, and they kept quiet because they were going to wait and they were going to sell a book. And his wife, Jill Biden, bro, let me explain something to you. They all knew. She knows. what a disgusting human being you are as a wife. And I guess, dude, somebody's thinking about pressing charges for elderly abuse for dragging his ass out there and doing it because, guys, you made Connor, that's exactly what they did. Because, going to your point, after that debate, the Operation 8647 came into play. It's like, bro, holy shit, we got to shoot, get Trump out. Go kill him. They missed the shot. Then they were like, all right, get his old ass out. And, bro, somebody, Maha, a libertarian, put something in the chat and said, dude, maybe this is vaccine turbo cancer speeding the fuck up. And
I
really
was just going to say that. If you skip ahead a couple, Jake, I'll show you why I do not feel bad about this at all. A couple more. Sorry. We're right here. Do you remember this? Do you remember this White House statement?
On not letting Omicron disrupt work and school for the vaccinated. You've done the right thing, and we will get through this. For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your families, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm.
This was the president of the United States wishing a winter of severe illness and death on those of us who rejected a vaccine that has been linked to causing turbo cancers.
Yep.
This whole thing where suddenly this medical procedure that everybody was forced, cajoled, threatened, bribed into getting that has been linked to heart conditions and cancer, suddenly that guy has been diagnosed with cancer and we're all just supposed to hold hands and feel sorry for him.
No.
Look, prostate cancer is terrible. If anything, it's a wake-up call to go get checked if you're past a certain age. Like this,
I got checked.
Yeah, cancer affects people in a lot of different ways. It's unfortunate. I wouldn't wish cancer on somebody just because I don't like them politically. But this guy made it the entire platform of his early presidency to condemn an entire group of people for their health decisions.
I agree with President Trump's statement. Was it today or earlier this week where he said, Biden, then he was talking about the criminals, but I do not think that Biden was in control of his entire past 4 years. I think his team ran him, and his team was the one that forced us to get the vaccine or vice versa. So I don't necessarily blame Biden.
But he did. I understand where you're coming from. I get it 100%. But when he was still kind of there, he was talking shit and saying for people to get vaccinated.
She's the type that's a puppet that'll say anything, though. Because, I mean, there's like layers of this. And it's like a whole coordinated thing where, like, who's telling the doctor to not talk about his cancer? And then, like, who's telling that person that it's okay to just, like, hide the fact that the president could be terminally ill?
This
so
notion that
layers and layers and layers of accountability.
This notion that he's some kind of, kind-hearted good man who is manipulated by an evil system, that is so far from true. Look at this guy's entire life. From the moment he entered politics, he has been a conniving, self-interested scumbag who has gone out of his way to secure profit for himself and his family. Everywhere Joe Biden has gone, the other members of the Biden family have profited in power, influence, and money. So this is not some guy who is losing his mind and that's allowing bad actors to manipulate him, but deep down, fundamentally, he's a good guy. This is a guy who in his lucid moments was fully down with the agenda and in his not lucid moments was being manipulated by everybody else, but he was fully complicit in this. So, look, I'm sorry he has cancer, but am I supposed to shed a tear over this?
No.
Am I supposed to be
were they
wringing
treating
hands
his cancer too? Like that's a whole question too. Like were they not treating it, or were they treating?
Bro, let me explain something to you, guys. He had cancer, skin cancer, during his presidency. Okay, he's fell and broke his foot. All right, he has had 2 brain aneurysms before he was a president. He should be the most monitored. Like physically, doctors everywhere.
He's 82 years old. What are you expecting?
It's not believable for people to think that we're going to believe that. Guys, the trust in the government, and I don't trust the media or the government. They all knew, and I think, Connor, you're spot on. They were dragging his corpse. They don't give a shit about this guy. And that just shows you what they're going to do to clinch on and hang on to power. That's what that is. And his wife, I'm going back to Dr. Jill. His wife, you don't think she likes the spotlight? You don't think she's out there? She's sitting on Air Force One like the bitch is president. She's signing documents.
Maybe she's just trying to protect his legacy.
She makes people call her doctor.
She's adding to the worst part of the legacy. And you know what?
Maybe marry a real doctor and they'll be able to detect.
Yeah, exactly. Was she a massage therapist? Listen, the fact that and if he's done illegal stuff, which he has, bro, he belongs in prison. I wouldn't shed a tear if he goes in prison. I hope he's okay. I hope he doesn't go through pain. But bro, you're knocking on death's door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think
and
how
that
many-
doesn't take away
Yeah.
anything from what you are. It doesn't take away anything from what he said. What Trump supporters are. His past with Burisma and he's a scumbag, bro. And Obama and all them hate his ass. Obama didn't pick him. Didn't support him, and he was his vice president. He supported Kamala.
Why is it that we were able to like raid the houses of parents that were speaking up at school boardroom school board meetings or whatever?
Yeah.
Like during Biden's presidency, but now like we aren't doing anything for stuff like this. It's like high treason. So every day goes by that we don't see actual action about the threats they make. I just get more pissed off about that aspect of things every day because like far more talk than action so far, like within multiple
And
fronts.
at the point, Brandon, I'm at
Like
the
do
point
something, Bondi.
Yeah, and I'm at the point where it seems like I'm actually upset that this is how it pisses me off that this is what they go, dangle it, we get upset, where is it? Next thing. We're not going to get anything, bro. We can sit here, bitch all day and complain. They're not going to do anything.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you, if it doesn't happen I'm giving them 2 years, I'm just done. I'm not going to support. I'm not going to be positive. I'm obviously, I love the country. I love what Trump is doing. But all this type of shit, these people are protected. You're never going to see them go to prison.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton will never see the inside of a jail. Neither will Bill Clinton. Neither will Prince Andrew. Anybody on that list. Ghislaine Maxwell's the only one that's in jail for selling kids and
To
no
nobody.
customers.
Yeah.
Explain. If you're a kingpin selling drugs and cocaine and you go down, where the hell are your distributors?
Yeah,
Your dealers, your street thugs. What the fuck are we talking about? Dude, I'm exhausted. I'm so disappointed in these freaking people with these promises. Anyway, Connor, what's the...
Well, I was gonna say let's roll that video of the oncologist talking to Joe Scarborough on MSNBC.
Where he's speechless.
Oh, this is it? Yeah, look at this guy. Yeah, play this scumbag.
This prostate cancer has spread to the bone that he could have had it for up to a decade, but certainly it's likely, would it be fair to say, it's likely to have had this for at least several years?
Oh, more than several years. You don't get prostate cancer.
I just want to stop you. So this is not speculation. If you have prostate cancer that is spread to the bone, then he's most certainly, you were saying, had it when he was president of the United States.
Oh, yeah. He did not develop it in the last 100, 200 days. He had it while he was
Scarborough is
president.
such
He
a
probably had it at the start of his presidency in 2021. Yes, that I don't think there's any disagreement about that.
I'm just curious again.
I like how you left that in there.
Yeah, they don't even know how to breathe, bro. You guys
Well,
are so...
they're stumbling over themselves.
At the end of the day, though, like if they don't hold them accountable, they're no better than them because, like he's saying there, people knew about this for years. The doctor knew about it. Somebody told the doctor not to talk about it. Biden must have known that he had it. So if like Pam Bondi and whoever should be looking into this don't do anything about them, they're no better than these people.
Well, you know who knew about it for years? Joe Biden.
Yeah.
If we want to roll this next clip, here's Biden in 2022
He slipped up.
saying that he has cancer.
Yeah, go play this one.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? It had to put on their windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer.
Well,
Did they mute him?
We just
Or is
glossed
that the
over
video?
I think he stumbled away from the microphone a little bit, and then it
He
trails
says
off
it.
with the
He
audio.
says it. That's why
Uh-huh.
me and a bunch of other people have cancer, and it's like, bro, what a disgusting system to hide. But by the way, we all knew he was gone. Let's not even the left. I don't listen to them. We all knew, but dude, he was so protected. Think about it. Remember the cue cards? Look here. Talk to this person.
Take your seat.
Take your your seat. Oh, walking on stage, telling I gotta go. I can't answer questions. They told me he was controlled to the maximum, bro. And I think the three people, Jake Sullivan, John Kirby, Anthony Blinken, they were the puppeteers. They were the puppet masters, with Obama and Hillary kind of in the wings doing it. And by the way, that's what the Democratic Party is. That the Democratic Party is a party that wants to destroy the country with the border. They want to put a freaking puppet, because think about it. Like you said, Joe Biden's not making any decisions at all. This is what they wanted, though. All the shit that happened that Trump is fixing for those 4 years, that's what Obama wants. That's what Hillary wants. That's what the deep state, because it is them, that's what they wanted, guys. And I don't understand. What the fuck is the motive? Why do you want to destroy the country? Explain that to me. Why do you hate us so much?
They want one world system.
Brendan, break it down very, very quick. Why would you want to flood the country with illegals, okay?
Yeah.
Ruin everything, give away all of our money, give our money to Ukraine, do all this shit, start wars. What's the point?
Oh, yeah. So for the people who, I guess, want the most control, they saw the Democrat Party as being more susceptible to being kind of infiltrated. So there's a book called Rules for Radicals, which teaches you how to radicalize people. They slipped into the Democrat Party. They, I think Clinton was the first new wave of what these people had a vision for. And they're trying to weaken America to the point where it could be taken into this global system, because with America being strong and being more nationalist, you can't break it to the point of having a new world system. So look how much power the WHO and Davos have over us when the president's not an America first guy. But then look how easy it is to break away from that when you get a president that is nationalist. So the more you flood America with immigrants, and the more you erode national identity, national pride, then that's kind of what breaks a society. And the biggest barrier to all the socialism crap is a strong middle class. And the more you erode the middle class and everything, then that all kind of falls apart, and it's easier to pitch socialism and the handouts and stuff like that. So yeah, basically trying to flood us with new people to erase national identity so that it's easier to bring us into a one world system.
Fuck. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But I mean, great. You broke it down great. And it's and what are they getting out of it? They're getting paid?
Well, so it's easy to bribe people like the freaking Clintons, some hillbillies from Arkansas. We'll throw you a couple of million and enable these policies for us. They really started to break the country in a big way, because that 2.3 missing trillion that Rumsfeld talked about, that was as a result of the Clinton administration. So they really changed the accounting rules and took us off in a whole different path, and that's where it started with them.
Jeez, it goes deep. Connor, which one is this clip?
Well, the timing of all this cancer stuff is very interesting, I think, because it came out within hours of the full audio of Biden's sit down with Robert Hur in 2023. I believe it was Axios. We have their headline where I think they got the exclusive on it first. They have the audio. It's 5 hours, and we'll now listen to those 5 hours together for the next
for the next half an hour.
Obviously not, but they have the whole thing. And remember, these were withheld because they said they were active law enforcement documents, and Hur declined to prosecute Biden because, he said he was a well-meaning old man with a bad memory. But this was when he was being interviewed about his improper retention of classified documents. We have one of the clips of his audio from that, if we can throw that up real quick. This is him forgetting when his son died, and apparently throughout the entire interview...
We've heard that, though, right?
Biden stops talking, and you just hear the ticking of the grandfather clock in the Oval Office for minutes at a time.
Let's hear a minute of it.
So sad.
I know.
Just kidding.
So during this time, we were living in Chambers Road, and there were documents related to the Penn Biden Center, or the Biden, or the cancer booster shot, or your book. Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Where did you keep the paper?
Well, I don't know.
I don't.
This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so...
Yes, he's gone.
It was... and by the way, there were still a lot of people at the time, when I got out of the Senate, that were encouraging me to run in this period.
What the hell is he talking about?
Except the president.
I don't think we need to listen to this whole
thing.
thing.
You can stop it, Jake.
It's just tough to watch.
For context, he's talking about, that was 2017, 2018. His son, Bo, died in 2015.
Yeah, he has no idea what he's talking about.
He cannot place things on time. We already knew that part, but it shows how much of an edited persona Joe Biden was. Where every time he would do a video, there'd be like 37 cuts in a 2-minute video because he couldn't deliver more than a sentence at a time without pausing and stumbling and doing multiple takes.
No, you know what that shows though? Like it's like it shows the power of the establishment like being at your back and having your back. Because I mean, like if they're able to hide that and like make at least some people not realize that he's losing his mind, you know, like think about like somebody who's there, capable and competent, like Clinton, Obama, or potentially Newsom, like with the establishment, like at your full support and like hiding everything for you when you're like a competent, capable person.
Yeah, dude, you have a oh my god,
the world's your oyster.
The world's your oyster, and you nailed it earlier. Especially when you are a soulless, godless person, there's no consequence. Think about it, Kel. If you don't believe in God, you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you have no morals, no scruples.
Yeah.
Why not do whatever you want? Suck in, like take as much money, enjoy, eat like an asshole, do whatever, and have people killed.
Yeah.
It's like.
It's a gangster's paradise.
It's a gangster's. You nailed it. Because, bro, there's no consequence. Kill. Oh, imagine those phone calls. Yeah, listen. Yeah, no, kill him. Okay, next. Who's next? Yeah, no, for lunch I want this. Bro, they're soulless. When you look at Hillary Clinton, like, just hold on. Really look at her. What does she look like to you? She looks like somebody that doesn't have anything inside. Her everything is in her face. She's just a disgusting, old, evil person. And Bill, now he's just, he has no idea what the hell's going on too, but that's another soulless predator in my opinion, because of all the alleged, sexual assaults and shit that he's done in his freaking past. They're disgusting human beings. And it just drives me crazy. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they're going to go to hell, so that's
if they don't pray. I mean, I hope for their sake, I hope they freaking pray, Brandon. I truly mean that. What EI Electronics Tech said, I think it's one of those turn the other cheek to be better men instead of just being petty and F it all. I don't know, bro. I think you have to go after them and put them all in jail.
Question though, so I mean, and I know that's like the Christian principles and everything, but like, is that a good message to push out there that you could live that life, but then you could reverse it?
Here's another great question. If you and Brendan, I don't know what their heart and their soul is like. For instance, if you are about to die and you really, Brandon, I'm talking about really, 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 and again, I can't see it. Say, listen, I was a piece of crap. I am so sorry for what I did, but you mean it. But Brandon, the majority of those people, they don't mean it. They don't mean it. It's just like an insurance policy. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. I'm sorry. No. God sees your soul. He knows your heart, bro. This all surface stuff, it doesn't matter.
Well, part of it also is like having that redemption story as well. Like yes, if it's in your heart and your soul that like, oh, I'm really sorry, I wish I did things differently, okay. But if you should feel that way and then make efforts to change it, make efforts to right your wrongs. But
how are they gonna Hillary Clinton, if Hillary Clinton right now came to us and she's like, hey, listen, first of all, she has to admit it. She has to say, listen, I didn't
It's
have...
like the 12 steps.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
82
and
for her.
This is a concept that's referred to as the scandal of the gospel, in that the worst, most degenerate, wicked person in the world can accept Christ, genuinely repent, and be forgiven in eternity. But that forgiveness and that redemption does not absolve you of consequences of your actions.
Exactly.
Or, for example, one of the most notorious conversions of a person like this, Jeffrey Dahmer, allegedly converted to Christianity in prison. Mm-hmm. And he was ultimately killed. I believe it was by other inmates. But it said he became a Christian while he was behind bars. That's great. If that was a legitimate conversion, then I hope Jeffrey Dahmer regretted everything he did, threw himself on the mercy of Christ, and tried to make his life better while he was there. But you do not let Jeffrey Dahmer out of prison because you say, oh, you repented.
No. Nobody
You're free to
agrees
go.
with that.
Exactly.
Nobody says that.
Nobody says that at all. That is the whole point. So if Hillary Clinton wanted to absolve herself of all this and, try to make a genuine repentance, it's not enough to tell God she's sorry. The thing that would then be the obligation of a true converted Christian is to come forward and say, these are the things I did. This is what I got away with. I accept the consequences of my actions. Yep. I want to try to make things better by laying bare the truth of what happened. So unless that's done, it's not some cosmic get out of jail free card to just make a deathbed confession and say, "Oh, I guess I'm going to heaven now." That's not how that works.
What if they thought they were doing the right thing, like with the Haiti stuff? You know, like they're like, "Oh yeah, we're being charitable here."
They know, Brent,
great.
They know what they're doing.
That's
They know what
why
they're doing.
there is a universal standard of right and wrong, and it's not subject to individual interpretation. Your own motivations don't really matter.
Yeah,
It's what was actually moral and correct.
So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.